Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to share how I broke free from the toxic cycle of hustle culture, redefined what success meant to me, and discovered one simple truth. Rest isn't a reward, it's a necessity. Let's start our conversation by talking about self-worth and output. The thing is, right now, our society often measures success by how much you achieve, not by how you feel while achieving all of those things. And this mindset is ingrained in every single one of us from childhood. Grades, trophies, and promotions teach us that productivity means value. If you are productive, you are valuable. We have all heard this phrase, you are what you do. But what I'm proposing instead is to change our perspective to a healthier statement. You are how you feel while doing what you do. As a woman, I struggle with productivity culture so freaking much. I always felt pressure to stay busy, overloaded, to constantly do something, because if I took a break for just one little second, my value immediately decreased. That's what productivity culture taught me. And as a result, I was constantly sacrificing my well-being. I was skipping meals. I was saying, it's fine, I don't really have to have lunch today. I'll just eat breakfast really quickly and then I'll think about having dinner later. Now the most important thing is to work. And I would also feel guilty for taking breaks because again, when I was taking breaks, when I was resting, I was not being productive. And only now I view rest as something productive, as something absolutely necessary for staying sane. I also remember that I felt so proud when I didn't have any hobbies and when I would tell other people that my hobby was my work. My work was my life. My work was my dating life. I literally felt so accomplished and so great. Like, look at me, I work so much, I accomplished so many things, I don't even have time for those little hobbies. I don't need them. I know right now for me it just sounds appalling, but back then I thought that is what productivity is. That is what loving your job truly is. Just working non-stop, overworking yourself, not being in touch with my feminine self. For me, it was fine. You know, I thought that rest is for the weak. And I think the core problem here is the cycle of validation. Many of us feel good about ourselves when tasks are completed, when goals are achieved because of the praise we receive. You got a good grade, good job, you're amazing. But no one cares how you felt while actually cramming for the stupid exam. And in my case, this created this really harmful cycle. I'm only valuable when I'm achieving, because once I start resting, no one is praising me right now, and so something is wrong. And obviously the consequences of this type of productivity culture are appalling. I was constantly burned out because I was pushing myself beyond healthy limits. I felt guilty, inadequate, weird when my productivity inevitably decreased. Like, I actually felt bad. My perfectionism was getting worse and worse. I felt like nothing was ever good enough. And it was also honestly losing my sense of identity. Like, who am I? If my self-worth is based solely on my achievements, who am I when I stop achieving? And that is why I encourage you to redefine your self-worth. Your worth doesn't come from what you do, but who you are. You're worthy. Just because. Think about all the people you love in your life. Would you value them less if they were suddenly less productive? If they came up to you and told you, look, today I worked for 5 hours instead of 6. Would you be like, you know what? I don't think I love you anymore. I mean, even saying this sounds absolutely ridiculous. So give yourself all of this love that you give to all the other people who are important in your life. Instead of asking yourself, what did I achieve today? Ask yourself, how did I grow? What did I learn? What did this day bring to me? So if any of you struggle with productivity culture, I highly recommend journaling about these two questions. The first one is, what would you value about yourself if no one ever saw your accomplishments? And the second one is, how can you celebrate yourself for being, not just doing? And as I work through my own struggles with productivity, I realized something super important. Being busy doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something effective. What actually makes a huge difference is learning how to think smarter and not harder. And that is where today's sponsor, Brilliant, comes in. Brilliant is a unique learning platform where you learn by doing. With thousands of interactive lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and even AI, Brilliant makes complex concepts super easy to understand by letting you actively engage with them. It's hands-on, visual, and fun. What I most love about Brilliant is their first principles approach to learning. They guide you from the ground up, building a solid foundation through interactive problem solving. This method is proven to be up to 6 times more effective than watching traditional lecture videos. So you're not just memorizing, you're actually understanding. And the best part is that it fits perfectly into a busy life. With lessons designed to take just a few minutes a day, it's an ideal way to build a powerful daily learning habit. No more endless scrolling. Instead, you're leveling up your skills in ways that actually matter. If you're like me and love exploring how things work, Brilliant's new data science courses are incredible. They use real-world data from platforms like Airbnb and Spotify to teach you how to find trends, build models, and make better informed decisions. It's practical, intuitive, and perfect for any skill level. Brilliant is now offering an exclusive deal to you guys, my audience. You can try everything Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days. Just go to brilliant.org/VeronicaMark/ or click the link in my description. Plus, you'll get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Okay, now let's move on and talk about the hustle culture glory. A lot of us glorify relentless work and constant productivity. We think that if we're always productive, this is pretty much the ultimate path to success. It promotes the idea that sleep is for the weak, you can rest when you're successful, work more than anyone else to get ahead. And I think especially on social media, we see all of those videos where grind is celebrated. You have to grind, you have to hustle, and only then you can relax. After you're done grinding, after you're done hustling, rest is treated as a failure. And honestly, I understand why we're experiencing this constant pressure to hustle, to run, to do something. Right now, we live in a very competitive world. And if you're not learning new skills, constantly improving, outworking others, you're going to be left behind. In reality, it's a race without a finish line because there's always more things to do, more things to accomplish. You can always be more successful and achieve a lot more things. And as a woman, I know that a lot of women often face double pressure. We have to hustle at work and also maintain those traditional roles in our homes. So for me, I always try to keep this in mind right now to keep my sanity and to get closer to my feminine self. That true success means well-being. It means building relationships, and it means feeling fulfilled, not just your career achievements or how much money you're making. Let's actually talk about my aha moment when I realized that I needed to change something. I think it happened when I started feeling like I was losing touch with my feminine self, with my feminine energy. I honestly even forgot what it meant to be in your feminine energy state. I would be exhausted all the time. I would be angry at other people, and all I would do is work harder. I had zero time for myself, and I remember one day when I decided to try doing a handstand, because for me those playful workouts were always something that I really liked doing. Like, they always connected me to this lighter, flowy feminine energy. I realized that, I didn't have time for that. So instead of prioritizing my mental state the way I felt, I decided to work even harder because I didn't want to have any hobbies, because I thought that saying that I don't have any hobbies, I don't have any time for hobbies because my work is my biggest hobby, was something that made me the most successful person in the world. I never dedicated time for play, for me, doing something that I really liked, pouring all of this energy into my own cup. You know how people use this phrase, the glass is half full or half empty. For me, maybe it was half empty at that time, but I also think that that is not the most important question. The most important question is, how do you fill up that glass? How do you pour more into that glass? And for most people, it's with good quality rest. So that is exactly why I believe that rest is productive, and that is something that I really want to talk to you guys about. A lot of us view rest as the absence of work. If I'm not working, it means that I'm resting. But does it? I personally think that rest isn't just the absence of work, it's the fuel that makes your work even possible. And if you constantly deplete yourself of this fuel, one day you're just gonna not have anything left. Rest is the intentional downtime. You're telling yourself, look, I'm going to rest right now. I'm going to be very intentional about it because I want to let my mind and body recharge. I want to process information and I want to ultimately perform better. I still remember I came across this video on Instagram where a girl was sharing her productive routine, and she was saying that every single day, the first thing she schedules into her calendar is her rest. And for me at first, this idea of scheduling your breaks, your rest first was appalling. I was like, what about all the plans? All your plans, all of your tasks, your work things are the most important thing. So how can you schedule breaks first? How can you prioritize your rest? But in reality, this girl was prioritizing herself, her mental well-being, and ultimately her success. So that is why right now I always talk about sleep, because it is so freaking important. And in the past, I struggled with my boundaries about sleep so much. I would go to parties, stay up late all the time just because I wanted to hang out with those people. And so now I have an Oura ring. It tells me my sleep score. It reminds me to start winding down, to relax. Like, I really do want to become that person who prioritizes their sleep. And to become that person, I need to start acting like that person right now. And finally, let's talk about your new approach to productivity culture. This traditional model of success, work harder, do more, sacrifice everything, clearly didn't work for me. And so now my new approach, something that I try to talk about a lot on my YouTube channel, is prioritizing balance, intention, and sustainability. The first rule of my approach is that I value outcomes over output. I always keep in mind what really matters and what creates the most impact. Sure, I could be creating content on all of the social media every single day, but right now, I don't create any content on TikTok, for example, on Snapchat. The second rule is that I prioritize intentional work over constant work. I don't want to be constantly productive anymore, but I do want to be intentional about my work. Instead of packing my day with endless tasks, I always ask myself, why am I doing this? Does it matter? Is it going to have a big impact? And if the answers are yes, great. And the third rule is I always dedicate time to rest and play. My playful yoga workouts, bouldering sessions, this is something that I consider play. Maybe for you, it's going to be different. Just think about what makes you feel like a kid again, like a kid who's playing, who's having fun. So I think this new approach to productivity culture doesn't just make you more effective, it makes you feel more fulfilled. You're not just working towards your goals like a robot. You're actually creating a life you truly love. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to start learning by doing, you absolutely have to check out Brilliant. You can do so by clicking the link in my description. And also don't forget that this link is going to give you 30 days completely for free and also 20% off your annual premium subscription. I think today, even though we talked a lot about productivity, we also talked about self-care. So if you want to see my ultimate guide to real self-care, you absolutely have to check out this video right here. Just click right here and keep on watching.